So if you're not careful in your marriage, you can come to a time where you just feel like you're going through the business of being married. You're going through just the day-to-day transactional stuff where it feels like you leave work and you come back to your second job, which is your marriage. You're just passing each other by, you're completing taskings, laundry, dishes, dinner. If you have kids, taking care of the kids, and it's just like a constant checklist of items that have to be done.
Yeah, and I remember when we were in that kind of routine, and I also can remember like at different points in our relationship when we were in this routine. It wasn't just like, once we had kids we got into this routine, but no, I feel like we got into this rut early on in our marriage because we were both working shift work, trying to pursue careers. I was in school. Our schedules didn't align. So like, I think you were off like Tuesday and Wednesday every week. And I was off like Saturday and Sunday. Like we were just off weird days, like never together. And it was hard. And it felt like we were more like roommates.
Yes.
Not husband and wife.
Yes, we were roommates, business partners, however you want to phrase it.
Yeah.
But it lacked intimacy. It lacked closeness. Like we were just in the business of paying the bills and making sure things were done. And we weren't really connecting with each other. We weren't growing together. We were growing in separate directions. And you often hear people say we just grew apart. You will if you're pursuing two separate things, and those two separate things are not oneness. Because if you understand when you say the vows that the two have to become one, it requires some work and it requires some commitment to things that go beyond the business of marriage. So we asked the question, what do you do when you feel like you're in a roommate stage and you're not loving?
All right, guys, welcome back. I am Gleesy.
And I'm Al.
And here forever I do, y'all. We teach you how to brag.
Build your relationship
according to God.
Yeah.
So if you find yourself in the roommate stage of your relationship right now, we are living proof that you can change that narrative.
Yeah.
Now, let me let you know this. It doesn't just happen.
No,
like you don't just wake up and be like, we're lovers. No, because it took time to fall into that routine. So it's going to take time, work, and effort to get out of that rut.
Yes.
And what we want to do today is give you some action steps that you can take to change the dynamic of your relationship right now.
Yes, and it starts with a question, and you have to ask yourself this, and we wrote it down because we wanted to make sure we remember the question. And if you feel like you're in this stage, it's important that you identify it right away. And so how do you do that? You have to recognize what the roommate phase, what does it even look like?
Yeah.
Again, like you have to carve out some time to build your marriage. You have to carve out some time to build that oneness.
Yeah.
So let's ask yourself these questions. And this is what we had to ask ourselves. Do I truly feel seen and heard by my partner? Ask yourself that question. Okay, again, when we were in that phase and we were just going through the day to day, yeah, you can physically see each other, of course, but do you feel seen? Do they know what's going on with you? Do they know anything beyond the regular, how was your day? Oh, it was good. Or if you're like me, and some of us guys, like, we don't really want to talk about work. Like, how was your day? It was all right. And that's it. Like, you're not feeling seen. You're not actually seeing your partner for who they are, who they're becoming, who they may be growing into, what is a challenge that they're facing currently, or what's a win that they may have recently had. You're not actually getting down to the root of it all.
Yeah.
Because you're just passing time. You're just, again, checking off another item on that checklist. So ask your partner, do you feel seen by me lately?
Yeah.
Ask yourself, do I feel seen by my partner? and then start to have that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And don't be afraid of the answer,
Yeah.
because the answer may actually bring out and about the very thing you need to dig up and uproot from your marriage to actually start building that closeness and that intimacy.
So I'm so glad that you said don't be afraid of the answer.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we don't ask questions because
Yeah.
we are afraid of the answer. But if you've fallen into this rut, you want to ask this question because you want to know how your partner truly feels. Because if you don't know how they feel, how can you make any changes? How can you improve on anything if you don't really know how they feel? If they're answering the question in a way because they don't want to hurt your feelings, growth is never going to happen. Getting out of that rut is never going to happen because they're going to think, I'm doing okay. I'm doing everything that I need to do. Okay. So prepare yourself, prepare yourself, do some meditation, say a little prayer, put on some worship music. I don't know what it is that you have to do, but prepare yourself to hear an answer that you may not like. And that's okay.
Yeah. And again, like you may say, like, well, what does that even mean? What does it mean to be seen or whatever? It's going to vary depending on who you are. So again, like, how do I feel seen? Well, what challenges am I facing? And do you know about them? How can you be praying for me in this current moment or this current season that I'm in? Do you know some wins that I just had this week? How can you celebrate with me if you don't even know how I'm winning? Like winning, it goes beyond, do you bring in a check and do you pay the bills and can you buy nice things? Like, what are those things that you're trying to win at currently? Like, and does your partner even know about them? So start to think about, even what does it look like for me to even feel seen? Do I feel close to you? Do I feel connected to you? Yeah. What does that even look like? Mm-hmm. What do I need from you to be connected? Again, like, you got to know what those things are and how to answer those questions, even for yourself, in order to even articulate it so that your partner can meet your needs.
Yeah, and that kind of sort of segues into the next question of, like, what is the current state of our physical intimacy?
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about sex.
Yes,
sex
absolutely.
can be wham bam, thank you, ma'am. There is a need there, but there's also like physical intimacy. So when was the last time that you guys hugged or kissed? And not just like a peck as you're leaving the house. When was the last time that you guys cuddled? When was the last time that you looked into each other's eyes? Look into my eyes. But that's real. That is intimacy.
Yeah.
Like those close moments that you can only really share with your spouse. Like, when was the last time that you guys experienced those close moments?
Yes, because again, like, if you don't know what it looks like for your partner, you may just think that, well, we had sex the other day, like, and they're like, but I still don't feel connected. I still don't feel that closeness.
Yeah.
We did that because there was a need there,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been a minute, and we just been going about the day to day. But I still need more. I still need to feel connected. And what does that look like?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So making sure that you're asking, like, are we satisfied with this?
Yes.
It's one thing, like Al said, like, to have that need, but am I satisfied? Do I feel like physically we are one? Do I feel like physically we have connected in a way that you can't connect with anybody else? So have I been intentional about doing that? Am I coming to bed in my shorts and t-shirt? Or, am I being intentional about putting on something nice when I go to sleep? Or are you coming to bed stinky? Or you putting on that nice cologne that I like? Those are all questions that you want to ask.
Yeah. And we even came across some great questions even recently that can help with the intimacy. And it was just like a fill in the blank thing. Like, I love it when you, and fill in the blank.
Yes.
So that your partner can know, like, oh, I didn't even realize that. You look good when you, or it made me feel great when you did. Again, like, just filling in kind of the blanks of those things so that you can focus on the positive things that you actually enjoy that your spouse has done, so that they can know what they need to continue to do, or that they need to revisit in your relationship. Mm-hmm. So again, you can start to build that closeness again, and you can actually start to put some gas, if you will, into the tank for your spouse so that they can keep going.
Yeah, and I like the sentence completion thing, because sometimes, and I'm gonna be transparent. When you said what you said, like it was something that I didn't even realize that you had noticed, and I was just like, "Oh, you noticed that, huh?" But it made me feel good, and it made me want to continue to do it, because I was just like, "Man, I caught his eye, and I didn't even realize that I caught his eye." So making sure that you're doing those things is the smallest sentence,
Yeah.
the easiest thing, but it makes such an impact on how your spouse perceives you.
Yeah, but the thing is, roommates don't check in with each other
That's
in that
true.
way. Roommates they just go about taking care of the responsibilities in their shared space,
Yeah.
so that they can make sure that they can continue to live in that shared space. But again, they aren't actually checking in, and that's what actually gets left out when you're just going about the day-to-day, when you're in that roommate phase.
Yeah.
The check-ins aren't happening.
Yeah. And another question is, are we living parallel lives?
Yeah.
Okay. So parallel lanes, you're going in the same direction, you're doing the things that need to be done, but your worlds never collide.
Yeah.
You know, so like those conversations don't
Yeah.
happen, that intimacy doesn't happen, you know, those check-ins don't happen, because it requires a conversation, or it requires an action to jump into the other person's world.
Yeah.
And that can be really difficult when you're running parallel lines.
Yeah. There's no collision.
Yeah.
There's no intersection or interaction to actually, again, cross paths.
Mhm.
Like, so you have to make sure that you're not just going about the day-to-day,
Right.
that you're having those daily, weekly, monthly collisions.
Yeah.
And again, the longer you find yourself on those parallel paths, I would say the more you need to make sure that you are having those collisions or interactions, because when you do have those collisions, and you've been on those parallel lanes for too long, those collisions get kind of nasty.
Yeah.
Because now you build up so much speed that when you actually do collide,
that's so good.
It's a lot of collateral damage.
Yeah, that's so good.
So again, you have to make sure that you're having those check-ins, because those check-ins allow you to cross paths and just keep going.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And action steps, like, so we said you need to have, you could do like the sentence completion. Okay, so that's something that you can do. You can do your check-ins. We've shared before on our channel, our check-ins look like negative and positive withholds. So, you know, we'll say something like, you know, something that you wanted to tell your spouse, but life got into the way. Okay. So like, I really like how you came out to the garden to help me this morning. Like, I really do appreciate that. And the response is thank you.
Yeah.
You know, your spouse's only response is thank you. And then a negative withhold is something that bothered you or you didn't like, and then you just neglected to tell your spouse for whatever reason, whether, you know, you didn't feel comfortable or it wasn't the right time, whatever it is. And once again, the only response is thank you. But these are like things that you can put on your schedule.
Yeah.
Yes, I said schedule them. You have to be intentional about it, because we already know we're busy.
Yes,
that's absolutely how we got into this whole roommate phase right now, because we've just been going about the day-to-day of life. Okay, so we have our family meetings at the beginning of the week, another way where our world collide, and then schedule those check-ins or schedule your sentence completion. It don't take 45 minutes to have these things, and you got to tear down the barrier. I know our time is
it's precious,
occupied about everything, but this has to be intentional and this has to be important. No one can say that you can't schedule 5 or 10 minutes to have an intentional conversation with your spouse. Y'all, thank you so much for joining us. If you haven't, go ahead, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and go over to Instagram, become one of our followers there, where we share marriage tips and tricks every single day. We'll see you guys in our next video.
Hey, brag on it.